I want to talk next about a couple different legal challenges that Trump is caught up in and important breaking news about them. So the first is that Cassidy Hutchinson, the individual who did the bombshell testimony in front of the January 6th committee, she has agreed and is complying with the Georgia investigation into Donald Trump's attempts to overturn the 2020 election. Of course, the big moment from that is him calling the Secretary of State and saying, I need you to find me 11,000 something votes so that I can be the winner in this state. And here's the breaking news about Cassidy Hutchinson complying and giving information to the Georgia investigation, and then we'll discuss further.
Is confirming that former White House aide Cassidy Hutchinson is cooperating with the Fulton County District Attorney's investigation into Team Trump's efforts to overturn the election in Georgia, an investigation where possible indictments could be just weeks away at this point. Jessica Schneider is out.
Wow. And this is what we talk about with so many different investigations going on, so much different wrongdoing being looked into. And I want to remind you, in case you forgot what this was all sparked from, or at least the most outward facing, blatant example of Trump trying to intervene, possibly unlawfully. That's what's being looked into, in the lawful election process on this phone call with the Secretary of State and some other people.
So look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find, 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state.
I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have to win the state. Holy smokes. Why anyone who's even a conservative, was even previously a Trump supporter, would let that go and pretend like that's not a big deal is completely absurd, as you guys should all know, because no, the President of the United States cannot try to pressure election officials, and there are laws on the books about what you can and can't do in regard to our election processes. You cannot call up the Secretary of State, who does have a lot of power within the way that the election goes, and not deciding who wins, but I'm saying has a lot of power in the processes and having control over those, and say, I need you to find me 11,780 votes. I need you to find me 11,780 votes. Insane. So the breaking news within the Georgia grand jury investigation is that someone who likely has a lot of information, Cassidy Hutchinson, was one of the people working for the chief of staff of Donald Trump, is going to cooperate and testify in that. And then the second piece of Trump-related legal news is that his, at this point, I guess still attorney, possible former attorney, Christina Bobb, has decided to cooperate with federal investigators in regard to the Mar-a-Lago documents situation. So she was one of the people working for Donald Trump as his attorneys, and she signed a statement saying that Trump had turned over all of his documents when he hadn't. And so she could be in possible legal trouble because of that. We'll see how that goes, and likely to get herself out of it, she is cooperating and helping with the investigation. So take a look at this from NBC News. Christina Bobb, the attorney who signed a letter certifying that all sensitive records in former President Donald Trump's possession had been returned to the government, spoke to federal investigators Friday and named 2 other Trump attorneys involved with the case, according to 3 sources familiar with the matter. The certification statement, signed July 3rd by Bobb, indicated that Trump was in compliance with a May grand jury subpoena and no longer had possession of a host of documents with classification markings at his Mar-a-Lago club in Florida, according to 3 sources who do not want to comment publicly because of the sensitive nature of the sprawling federal investigation. Their accounts correspond with federal court records, though the Justice Department did not name her as the attorney who signed the statement or identify any others involved in its filings. After Justice Department officials were given the statement, the FBI subsequently determined the substance of the certification was untrue, and on August 8th, agents executed, as you know, the raid of Mar-a-Lago. And so the speculation is that she will go in there and say, listen, I was just told from my knowledge that that was true, and I'm not in the wrong on this because I was just following the orders of my boss at the time. And so it is important, though, and significant that she's complying and she will give up information about this. So there we go. 2 areas in which things are not going well for Donald Trump. And as always, I say we will continue to follow it very closely.